Welcome everyone, we're back at Retromobile and we have another very interesting guest today, and that is Sandra Button. So we are welcoming her from all the way from the US, and if you haven't heard her name yet, well, you missed out so far. So please, Sandra, can you introduce yourself and where you come from?
Thank you, Laura. Well, I'm Sandra Button, and I'm the chairman of the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, a show that was started in 1950, so long before I was born, but I joined almost 40 years ago, so it's been a big part of my life.
Yeah, and this is so special to us because a woman starting this amazing concours, and it's, well, for sure the world's greatest concours today. And we would love to find out how it all started for you.
Well, the Pebble Beach Concours, interestingly, started in 1950, and it wasn't very important. The Pebble Beach road races were really the most important thing. So it's kind of neat that the Pebble Beach Concours has its roots in motorsports, truly. So it was really all about the racing, but afterwards, these people a lot of servicemen had come back from the UK, they'd seen a lot of great sports cars. So the initial Pebble Beach Concours was really just a show of brand new cars that were just starting to be imported into the US in 1950. I didn't join the concours until the mid-'80s. So it was already a beautiful garden that somebody else had grown. So it's really been my job for the last almost 40 years to take care of something that other great automotive enthusiasts started.
Okay, I have a question that I know Pebble Beach Concours is the big historic event, and it's been going on for a long time. Can you tell us more about history, and how long do you think you are going to be there to continue this process, this event? How long more you think this can go with the new generation, or maybe for future situation, especially with maybe younger generation?
You know, Pebble Beach has really always been driven truly by the enthusiasts. So, initially the cars were basically, in 1950, a 1937 car was just considered an old car. And it took a while before we went from having brand new cars to the cars being celebrated for themselves. And in that era, in that early era, it was kind of the more formal car that people liked then. So there were a lot of coach-built Rolls-Royce, big giant cars that we don't love as much today. But so each era had its time. We had a time when a lot of French cars won. Bugatti has won equally with Mercedes the most times at Pebble Beach. But what I love about Pebble Beach is how organic it is. So when we choose the classes and the marks, oftentimes it's because someone comes to us and says, I'm restoring this car, and I know of 10 others. Couldn't we have a great class? And so I'll say to the person like Ruxton, when Jim Fastnack came to me, I said, Jim, that's great. Why don't you help put the class together? And so I think for the future, the great thing is that we're very organic. So younger people are coming to me and saying, why don't you have these cars on the field? I know it seems like they're too young for Pebble Beach, but we love them. And that's what's going to continue to happen, that the enthusiasts drive what we are, and they will continue to do so. And I have no worries about the younger generation. They love cars just as much as older people like me do.
Well, yeah, that's so great to hear because that's what we share. And we're really happy, but out of personal interest, I'm really interested. You have the next jury member generation from the McPherson College. Can you tell us more about this and how it all started and where it's going?
Well, McPherson in Kansas is a fantastic 4-year university, and they have a program for not just for restoration, but also for historical significance, even automotive communications. So the students that are coming out and that we have helped support with our scholarships, and we're just one small part. There's a lot of people supporting McPherson, so we just support a few things. But it's wonderful to me to meet some of these students now that are actively working. Just yesterday, I met with Paul Russell and a young man that was one of their scholars, and he now works with Paul Russell at Paul Russell Restoration. So there's a lot to be really positive about with the next generation. Really smart young people who love the cars and honor what people have done before them.
Yeah. Sorry, just one more.
No, you should.
No, because I'm coming from a technical background, so this is exactly my world, and what we are facing all the time is that there aren't enough young people going into this like world where you still need to use your hands, like your handcrafted world. So it's a phenomenon where just knowledge gets lost now. But I really love that there are the Macpherson College and other directions where people are really emphasizing and supporting next generations to understand the value of it. So for me it's just a personal thing, really.
Yeah,
but
me too.
another question, exactly.
One question that I ask everybody, like people experience like you, what would you think has to be changed in historic vehicle association or group or organization to get a better result of this work? You know, the heritage vehicles get to be known better between younger and also the older generation. What has to be changed that we get better results?
You know, I think that people think that their car has to be perfect. And I think sometimes there's a motivation to hide the truth about your car. When actually, the coolest thing about a car is the story. So I think that, not that it needs to be changed, but I think we need to be more fair about the true history of each car. So if something's been replaced, if it's been in a crash, if it went to your wedding, whatever the story is of your car, even if it's your daily driver, I think that, you know, when you try to sell a car on Bring a Trailer, for example, I think the cars that do better are the cars where they really tell the story, where they engage the buyer, where they're like, well, this is so cool. This is what happened. This is what they fixed. Here's the photos of what happened. So I think documenting the truth, because you know, we have selection committee members for Pebble Beach that are in their late 80s. And when we have the selection meetings and we have the car up on the screen, one guy will say, oh, I knew the first owner. Well, sadly, those people are going to be lost to us eventually. And what's going to be left is really the life story of each car. So I would encourage everyone to, you know, keep something in their glove box, write down what's going on. You might not think it's important at the time, but later when somebody's like, why was this changed? So Martin and I had a wonderful Bentley once, and we couldn't figure out why the side mounts were in a certain place where you couldn't open the doors properly. But no one had documented why they did that. Maybe they were rear mounted and their garage was too small and they decided to move the side mounts. We don't know. But it would be a much better story, and we could even see from the bodywork that something had happened, but it was never documented. So for me, I think the most important thing is to tell the truth. Don't do AI on your car, right? tell the truth. Document what's really happening and get that emotional attachment with your car. Whatever, even if it's your daily driver, just tell the story.
That's exactly what I was talking today. I think the restoration on some cars, they spend so much money, $1 million, euros on the car, but the reality and originality is getting lost. The result is gone. So that's something sad about historic vehicle. I think it's too much of